Hey, Elder Geek Gamer here. It's July 4th weekend 2020, and I thought this might be a good time for me to put together a video and show you the things I've collected over the last 40 plus years. About 2 years ago, I sold my business, and so all the stuff that I had been collecting over the years and storing at my business, I had to bring home and fit in this 10 by 12 room. So that was no small feat, but I think I've got it where I want it. So I thought I'd take you through it today and show you what I've collected. And I got to start out with Halo. Because Halo for me moved us from a great place, which was Sega Master System and Nintendo and Sega Genesis and those type of things, to something that my buddies and me could grab the consoles, take them to the office, put a switch or a hub between us, fire it up and use System Link to play together. And we spent, I don't know how many hours on Halo, and we still play it today thanks to the MCC. And that says a lot about the franchise itself. Says a lot about the player base and what a great game it is and what potential it has. And we're looking forward to the future of Halo with Halo Infinite, and we'll see where it goes from here. But as a collector, one of the first things I got when it first came out, I wanted to make sure and get my hands on the special edition green console. So this is not something I bought later. I actually bought it on release day. And then I also have the Halo Reach Xbox 360 limited edition, which is pretty cool. My son actually has this, and he keeps his stuff in pristine condition like I do, and he was getting ready to sell this. And I said, you know, let Dad take that, so I bought it off him. And then some little figurines and such that a lot of my buddies give me collectibles and such, so I'm really fortunate to have some. I like good friends, and I like good gaming friends even better. Here's my original collection of Halo games and some newer ones. And there's even a PC version in there of the original Halo. And back when you bought the MCC when it first came out, they had a multi-player map book, which is really cool because it has all the maps in it, and you can strategize and figure out what your choke points are and how best to play the game. And I still refer to it from time to time if I haven't played a map in a while. Next to that are some magazines, gaming magazines that specifically talk about Halo and its release. And I also have an Astro A50 headset, Halo headset. So that's my small but important to me Halo collection. So another game that I've spent a lot of time on over the years is the Fallout collection. And I played through the first 3 or so games and completed them. I didn't quite make it all the way through 4. I think I got distracted by something else. But, you know, 4 is a great game. Most of them are great games. The one exception, of course, as we all know, is Fallout 76 has been problematic. I haven't picked it up since they fixed a lot of the issues, and I'm going to do that and take another look at it. But I did manage to get the Power Armor Edition with the helmet, which is fairly cool. And then I also picked up a Nuka-Cola bundle, which is that box in the back. And it came with the water bottle and a great adult beverage bottle opener for those times when you need an adult beverage. And a bottle cap and some other things. So some coasters. So the games I've really enjoyed. The collector's edition stuff is great. And as you can see on the left too, I also have the Pip-Boy edition, which is pretty cool. Then down below that, I would say I have spent the most time next to Halo playing Destiny. I played it when it first came out on the Alpha on PlayStation. Introduced my friends to it. Of course, they're all on Xbox. So we ended up playing it on Xbox, and we still play this today. And today, in fact this week, I played with my son and my grandson. And that's 3 generations of us playing Destiny together. What a gas. And I was fortunate to get one of the Ghost editions, which comes with the motion-activated Ghost. And then also the limited edition, which has the Arms and Armament book. And then everybody has to have a Cade's Last Stand statue from GameStop. And it's a great statue, well worth the price that they charge for it. And, you know, I really like Nathan Fillion as an actor. And I enjoyed him voicing Cade in the series as long as he did. Wish he was still around, but I enjoy looking back on it. And as you can tell from this poster I have down on the bottom of my door, I am a fan. Next, we've got to look at the Doom Collector's Edition. And I've got a video I just did recently with an unboxing of it. And I'll put a link below in this so you can take a look at that unboxing. It's a pretty cool collector's item. And of course, I've been playing Doom, Quake, Unreal Tournament, all those type of games back since the 90s. And have had a lot of fun with them. And so for me, this is a must-have. And if you want to check out my review and unboxing of that, That'd be cool. So that's the first area of collectibles. Then right close to that is something that you may or may not be familiar with, is the Vault 3D armored gaming cases. And these were made available for the 360 Slim. Of course, the Slim didn't have the overheating problems and the red ring of death that the original did. But this is the one I happened to pick up, and you can also get them for Gears of War and for Mass Effect. And they go for around $50 to $75 in pristine condition. Somebody might get you might get one for $100. But I'd say $50 to $75 is a good price to pay. And these are really nice to have because on gaming night, you didn't bash up your system. This protected it. It just looked really, really, really cool. And on the back was a place to hang your headphones. And so the Vault 3D armored gaming cases they're by Caliber, and I would highly recommend them if you want to give your 360 a unique look. And then moving on to the elephant in the room, which is Steel Battalion. Steel Battalion is known for its massive controller, and I bought one shortly after it came out. The original one has the green buttons on it, and I also bought this blue one because you can play these system linked together, but just not one of those things that we ended up playing a lot of together. And so I just kept the blue one and sold the one with the green buttons a few years ago. But great system, and I'm looking forward to getting this set up. I'm going to push this out through HDMI, stick an M cable on it or a M Classic, and then see how this looks on a huge screen. So looking forward to doing that. And then down below, I've got my 27-inch Samsung ED-TV. And this is a TV that displays everything in 480p. It really does well with component input and anything that displays in 480p. Currently, I'm using my Wii to go through component and in 480p display Star Wars Rogue Leader. And it's 125 pounds. So keeping this thing and moving it around over the years was a real pain. But it's been worth it. It is an awesome looking TV and it sounds awesome. I can't show it to you in this picture. Maybe I can do a little overlay on this video. But it's got two huge ported speakers in the back and then the speakers on the side. It does surround sound. And for 480p gaming, it's just really great. So on top of that, I've got my Nintendo 64, which I just bring in S-Video on that. And the Saturn, which I currently bring in just actually a composite cable, which is pretty puny. So I need to fix that sometime soon. And then there's my Wii over here. And that's one of the GameCube, as you know, compatible ones. And then there's that green console, Halo Xbox green console. And then here's my Dreamcast, and the Dreamcast that I purchased, this came out on day one. I've still got the promotional bag that it came in from Electronics Boutique, not GameStop, Electronics Boutique. And so that's an area that I keep some of my systems that I prefer to put on a CRT rather than upscale to HDMI and to an LCD screen. And then over in this corner, I've got just some of my Star Wars things that kind of go together. And I've got the Riot Baton up top. I've got just some of the Star Wars games I've got. I've got some of the droids on display. Republic Commando is one of my absolute favorite Star Wars games. And I've got a couple of the battle drones, which are pretty sweet if you'd like to fly drones. And then the big guy in the room here on to the right is the Star Wars arcade from Arcade 1-Up. I was in Walmart one day and it's about $200 off. And I said, yep, you get to come home with me. And so I put it there and it's worked out just great. I have a lot of fun playing it. Then I've got some other related items to virtual reality and alternate reality. The AR Jedi Challenges, of course, uses a phone for the screen, which, you know, it's fun. It overlays things on the environment that you're in. So AR is different from VR, it's less immersive in some ways. But it is fun. The only pain in the tuchus is that you have to take out your phone and put it in the container and holder. And it's a lot of work to make it all work, but it's cool. And then a buddy of mine one day said, hey, I've got this Virtual Boy sitting in the closet. He says, would you be interested in it? And I said, yeah, how much you want? He said, it's free. I said, done. And so he gave this to me. It functions perfectly and still has the original box. And like I said, I've got some great gaming buddies. And then a couple controllers and things. And then my AIM controller for PSVR. and my PSVR headset's right over there to the right. And man, I love Farpoint. Was the game that just went, okay, VR is awesome. So for me, the aim controller is a lot of fun. PSVR is fun, and I'm looking forward to the next generation of PlayStation VR and games. And then I run it all, a lot of things into this LG OLED 55-inch. On the left, you'll see my PS4 Pro, and on the right, you'll see my Xbox One X Scorpio Edition. So that works out pretty well. It's a great looking screen, and the lag time's not too bad on it. It's I've never noticed a problem with it for me. And then down below that is where I keep all my mini retro gaming consoles. And I set this up kind of differently. Originally I thought I was going to have them all permanently hooked up with the HDMI and power cables. And then I realized that's a lot of cables, and it's going to be some expense. And how else could I do this? So what I decided to do was purchase one of these. There's a power strip back there that has a cord that comes off of it and has 2 USB charging ports. Into those USB charging ports, I keep one of these retractable cables plugged in, which provides power to any of these consoles. And the HDMI cable I have going down there, it's not just any HDMI cable, it is actually a M cable. Now, the output without an M cable is fine. You don't really need one, but I had one sitting around, so I said, well, hey, why not? And it does look a little bit crisper, a little bit brighter, a little bit more colorful. So there are 2 mini retro consoles on here that don't quite fit into the mix. And that one would be the NEO GEO. And the reason for that is it uses USB-C and it uses a mini HDMI. So all I did was buy 2 adapters, and then I can put this down here and hook it right up just like the other systems. Similar goes for the new Turbo Grafx 16. And what I did there was I just hooked up a short male to female HDMI, and then the power cable, the USB going out, and then that hooks up very easily right to here. So it takes me, just less than a minute, 2 minutes to plug those cables in and be playing. So I think that's a good compromise to be able to play all these systems very quickly without having a mass of cables or using switchers and or those type of devices. Okay, so let's move over to the corner here. And since I was a teenager, I've played guitar and sang. I don't do it so much anymore, but I've got an Ovation 16 string and an Ovation 12 string here. And then in the corner here is kind of an impromptu little section for Gears of War items. Again, my buddies gave me the Marcus Phoenix collectible. And in the back, they gave me a special citation for the Legion of Merit. And they put this together to thank me for all the times I put together gaming nights, which were fairly often, organized the pizza, created our Facebook group, did all those type of things. And so, again, I like having good friends. I really like having good gaming buddies. So they've been very, very good to me over the years. Then some of the original systems. I don't have a 2600 out, but I do have the 7800 Pro system in box. This trackball controller I actually purchased brand new. Somebody was clearing out a lot of them that were in a storage facility somewhere. And then the Atari 5200, which, is kind of a problematic system in many ways, but it's part of the ecosystem and part of the franchise, so I have that also. And then down below in these cabinets, I keep some of the games. So I've got quite a few Atari 7800 games that are still in the cellophane. There's the original manual. And something that's kind of hard to see but is in the back there is 4,000 common shares of Atari stock. And of course that's long been canceled and they're not worth anything, but that was also a gift from one of my buddies who thought I'd like that, and I sure do. Again, more games here. And then over here to the right underneath the 5200, I've got a small collection of all things to me 3DS. And the 3DS I really like. I've got the Monster Hunter Ultimate Collector's Edition. And I've got a few amiibos. And of course I love Metroid like anybody else does. And Metroid's just awesome. And then down below that, some of my PS2 games that I've just happened to have kept. I'm not a huge collector on PS2 stuff, but I didn't want to get rid of these. Some of the games that I really enjoyed were Champions of Norath and Lord of the Rings, Ico. All those games were just cool. Primal was a quirky, fun game, kind of dark, edgy. And of course, Vagrant Story was, I think, a real unique game too. And then, so this is the area where those sit, and the cabinets. And then down below that, I've got a 1440p monitor, and I've got an LG 27-inch 4K monitor. And those work out really good. And what's interesting down here is, besides the fact that I do my work and my video editing and those type of things on it, if you pull out my keyboard tray, you'll see in the back a Sega Saturn keyboard, a Sega Dreamcast keyboard, and the Dreamcast mouse. And that's because over here, I keep a Dreamcast and a controller and the keyboard and the mouse, and I run it through the M Classic and upscale it to 1440p and can play that on that screen there. So that's kind of a fun way to do it. And then down below that is my capture card, which this one works just fine for me. I'm dinking around with a couple of different cameras. I've had the Sony RX100 Mark VII for 6-7 months, and I like it. It's been a good camera, but I'm moving over to the ZV-1, and the reason I'm doing that is just a more simplified camera. I don't need some of the features on the Mark VII, so that's going to go on eBay, and I'm going to move everything over to this. This segment is being recorded on the iPhone 11 Max, Pro Max, and is being recorded in 4K 30, I believe. And then there's my computer, which is nothing fancy. And then my Gravistar Bluetooth speaker. If you haven't checked these out, Google Gravistar speaker system. You can find them on sale for a decent price, and for an awesome single Bluetooth speaker, it's really, really pretty good. Got great sound, and of course, who doesn't look like something that looks like it just came from outer space? So. And then from there, if we go to this section here, I've got my small Nintendo 64 collection. One of the things I imported from Japan was Sin and Punishment. Great game. Of course, you can play it on Wii and a lot of different systems, but I wanted it for the Nintendo 64. Some things I enjoyed: Turok, Pilot Wings, of course, is awesome. Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, and Jet Force Gemini, all great games, along with some of the Star Wars stuff. And then down below that, this was my best deal ever on the Arcade 1-Up systems. I got this for $199 brand new at Walmart one day when they were clearing them all out. And I really enjoy it. Lots of fun. For that price, yeah, it had to come home with me, and I had to find a place to put it, and this is where it sits. Then going down that section here more, there's my Wii and my Wii U. And in the corner is the Switch, which is surprisingly I don't play as much as I used to. But, you know, it's a great system. All of these are great systems. So I'm glad I've still got them to look back on. And then right next to my couch here, where my wife and I sit and watch TV and when I'm not playing video games, is the Battlefield 1 Collector's Edition. And it's got that great collectible statue of the soldier. And I think I got that for like $15 when they were closing them out. It's a great collectible. And then my two headsets, I've got a Turtle Beach Pro, one of the original ones. And then I use a V-Moda all the time. I just happened to see a review on that. And the V-Moda is a great headset, not just for the Xbox that I play most, but also it's Bluetooth, so I can just listen to the TV if I don't want to wake my wife up during the evening. And then my controllers down here. As you see, my Switch over there, and my Wii U and the console down here. And Collector's Edition statue from Soul Calibur. And then in this corner are nearly 300 video game magazines. And I didn't start out to collect these, but I decided not to throw them away. And it's not a complete collection. It goes back to about 2000. But it's really a lot of fun to go through and take a look at like something from 2001 and see what was coming out at that time, what they thought of the games that were coming out, and what they were hyping. And it was just really a lot of fun. And then a totally non-gaming related item is this staff here. I used to hike a lot, and this staff has been with me to the Grand Canyon, to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, to the Smoky Mountains, through Sequoia National Park, to Bryce Park, and a lot of different places. And I found it one night when somebody was about ready to throw it on the campfire for kindling. I said, no way. So I call up my Gandalf staff. It's pretty cool. It's extremely lightweight, but extremely strong. So that's one of the things I really was fortunate to get back when I think I was like 16 years old when I picked that up. And it's been with me all these years. Back to gaming. So I bought the Rampage cabinet, and I think it's a great cabinet, but of course there were a few issues with it. One of them was that the ROM was bad for anybody playing Gauntlet. I got that repaired, and that's great. But the biggest problem for me is, of course, I like Defender, and of course the button layout in Defender is just useless. So I'll do something about that one day, but I still enjoy this cabinet quite a bit. And then I didn't have anywhere to put it. So what was I going to do? What I decided was I'd take these partially used closets, and I would make a skirt, so to speak, out of display board bought from Michael's. And I used black, and I used a clear plastic. And what that does is it hides everything in the back of the closet, but lets me recess it halfway into the closet. So that worked out really well. It's inexpensive, and if you've got an X-Acto knife and a good ruler, you can put something like this together. I even fashioned a small shelf out of the display board. Yeah, it's nothing fancy. I'll do this correctly one day, but for now, it's a nice little hack to try to keep things looking organized. And then up above is my Dreamcast system I mentioned earlier, which I bought on day one, and then my Sega Saturn system. Next to that are some 3DO games. And I actually bought a 3DO when it first came out, and it was expensive. It does not work right now. The drive is bad. I'll fix that one of these days. But I loved Road Rash, I loved Shockwave, and I loved Gex. And then, of course, a lot of games over there like Dragon's Lair that I have collected. And then here is where I put a lot of my physical video games. I've got the things for the Sega Saturn here, a lot of Dreamcast games, and there's more there than it looks like there are. Some Super Nintendo games, PS4, Xbox One steel case editions. OG Xbox games on the right are ones that are 360 compatible. On the left, they are Xbox One X compatible and upscaled, and they look awesome. And just some miscellaneous ones on the top. And then right down below all the 3DO stuff is Mass Effect Andromeda Collector's Edition with the Nomad remote control vehicle. My son bought that for me. And I'm a huge Mass Effect fan. If you look at my collectibles, I don't have a lot of Mass Effect stuff, but boy, if you look at the games that were high impact to me, Mass Effect is one of them. And yeah, Andromeda launched and it was problematic, but they've done a lot to correct that, and it's probably worth a replay if you haven't. A lot of people don't know they even snuck in the 4K Elements upgrade on the Xbox version. And then one of my funnest finds and best finds was the Justice League Batmobile, and these were running for around $250, and they're great looking, fun to play with remote control vehicle. And I got this for $75 brand new, and still haven't taken it for a test drive, but I will do that soon. And then over in the corners where I keep my gaming hats, I've got my hoodie from the Andromeda Collector's Edition I bought. And as you can see, my Serenity poster there. And so we come back around to everything I've collected. There are a few things in storage in different places, my ColecoVision and some of those type of things. But these are the things that I like to have out so that I can still enjoy looking at them and playing them. So I've tried to make it something that reflects my gaming preferences, the things I like the most. I hope you've found this interesting. I hope that this finds you well, and that you are having a great amount of fun playing video games with your friends. And that's what it's really about. It's about having fun with your friends. It's not about which console is best. It's not about who has the fastest or the best display or who can do real-time ray tracing. It's about how much fun, how many times did you laugh when you took down your buddy in a game and said, hey, nice try, but I'm still the best. Great stuff. Glad I still collect. Glad I still play. When you get my age, I'm in my late 60s. I hope you're still playing and that you have a small collection like this that you can enjoy and carry on into the rest of your life like I plan to with this. I look forward to your comments. If there's any specific thing that you collected and sold and wish you hadn't, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I'm kind of curious. I've got several items. I'll post those in the comments below of things that I sold, but I wish I still had them. So that's it. Hope you've enjoyed this, like I said, and hope you had or have a great July 4th, 2020, or whatever time it is today. And I will catch you on the next video. Thanks.